Now, as you all know, Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, is by far one of the biggest failures over at Lucasfilm. Separate from Solo: A Star Wars Story, it's right up there in that status, because of all of the major decisions that Kathleen Kennedy made by overfunding this project, by heavily requesting Disney to really lower the marketing of this film, and that also really kind of backtracked on Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, she overly spent a lot of scenes that ended up never getting into the final cut. That was money wasted. Disney board members, at least some of them, are very unhappy with Kathleen Kennedy and her overall effect on Indiana Jones 5. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get into exactly what's going on with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now again, Kathleen Kennedy was directly responsible for hiring her, putting her into this movie, and essentially putting as many Star Wars actors as they could into Indiana Jones 5. You know, you had Mads Mikkelsen from Rogue One, you had Phoebe Waller from Solo: A Star Wars Story, so that's typically what Kathleen Kennedy likes to do with different franchises. It's either getting people from Marvel or getting people from another Lucasfilm property involved. Now, what's interesting about this is that everything related to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, we've discussed about how she was fired from several Disney projects behind closed doors and exactly why that happened. A lot of it had to do with the failure of Indy 5 and how it really created a domino effect on the cancellation of multiple movies over at Lucasfilm because of the budgeting limitations, not just because of that, but also because of the Lucasfilm purge. We have more on that later this week too, by the way. But what's interesting is that with Phoebe Waller-Bridge in great trouble with Disney after getting fired by 7 projects total related to both Disney movies in general and the Indy 5 sequel as Helena Shaw, for the first time Waller-Bridge seemingly confirmed everything that was happening behind the scenes by delivering the following. Well, I have been with Disney for a while now. I loved working on Solo and I loved working on this film. And I have, of course, really just had the greatest opportunity in the world. And though I have some projects gearing up with them, or had, but others fell flat between me and the people up the ladder over there as we ran into many creative differences for several projects we had our eyes focused on that I am no longer participating in. They felt it would be wise to seek new talent to take up those roles, so it was a tough thing to be forced to walk away from, but I'm okay with it now since it gives me more time to focus on my Tomb Raider series for Amazon and how we are going to reinvent Lara Croft in such a great way for the fans of that game. But yeah, I was working on many things in development with Disney that I don't think I'm still at liberty to say, that just fell apart sadly. We had disagreements, and I had to walk away. But I know those projects are still going on, and they just wanted new talent and felt, I guess I wasn't fit for those in the long run. So let me just stop here a second, guys. Now, we know the main reason behind all of this, of what happened behind the scenes, is that Disney was so unhappy with the fact that Helena was the direct reason why that movie was so insufferable in and of itself, was not just the dialogue by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but the way that she essentially bullies Indiana Jones, punches him out cold, and just does all these crazy things. This was all a Kathleen Kennedy self-insert character, there's no doubt about that at this point. It's becoming more and more, apparent at this level, where it just keeps on happening, and it's become quite a pattern. Now, we know that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is very egotistical. She believes that her Fleabag series really changed the nature of TV shows. She also believes that she is a top-tier creator. This is exactly why she did what she did with No Time to Die, aka Bond 25, and how that really kind of had some of the worst decisions made in there, such as the female character taking the 007 moniker and adopting that. That was all Phoebe. We talked about that in the last post. But what's interesting about this is that she keeps on labeling things as they were heading into creative differences, they were seeking new talent, they didn't really want her involved in those projects anymore. Well, we all know why. We know that she is box office poison. And she is. I mean, we saw how annoying and how crazy her character L337 was in the Han Solo film. We also saw how annoying the character of Helena Shaw was in Indiana Jones 5. Let alone Fleabag. If you guys have even taken up the challenge to check out little clips of Fleabag, you will notice that she's also insufferable in that show as well. I mean, this is just Phoebe being Phoebe in all of these shows and all these movies. It's just pretty much the truth at this point. Now, the thing about Bob Iger and the board is that, yeah, they made a right call here by getting rid of Phoebe Waller-Bridge from 7 projects that they were working on. We know that she was working on an Alien Romulus follow-up, a witch movie, and another film, just for starters, in 1900s London, early 1900s London, to be specific. There's more to it than just that, a lot of which were untitled and mysterious, but 7 projects in total are what Phoebe was actually let go from. Now, furthermore, she goes on to elaborate, and Indiana Jones and its sequel, I haven't really heard much since my departure, and though I know Kathy is still working on those right now, but it's all up in the air, really. I'm having a blast, though, working with Barbara on how we can choose the next James Bond. She's talking about Barbara Broccoli, by the way. And my focus is on Tomb Raider. Those are my 2 focus points right now. I was attached to Lando, but that too didn't pan out for me. It's a tough business, I mean, you just have to work hand and hard, and it does get very frustrating sometimes. People have disagreements all the time, and it's hard to work that out hand in hand with projects you are passionate about. My passion right now is reinventing some of the biggest pop culture icons in the movie world and in the video game world, and it's such a great opportunity for me. I'm ecstatic myself, to be honest. There she goes again. She's plugging her projects while admitting that she was let go by Disney. She was shoved out of there. She kind of said it in a more sugar-coated way, And the fact that she is admitting that she does have authority on choosing who is going to be the next Bond, that she does have authority on reinventing Lara Croft is bad news. It's really bad news. And I think it's really coming to show us that Hollywood is welcoming her in open arms way too much. People like Barbara Broccoli, I hope, does not become the next Kathleen Kennedy. It's very well possible with Phoebe Waller-Bridge in the books. It's sad but true, but I think that Bond 26 is going to be a watered-down James Bond movie, and it's definitely going to be something that's not going to be of value in comparison to the past Bond figures. So again, the fact that she really just has no care in the world about stating that she's reinventing big-time pop culture icons in the movie world and in the video game world, and how she wants to keep on doing that, she's trying to set herself up as like this big-time creator that's going to change everything. And that's the scary thing, is that if Hollywood lets her, she will do exactly what she wants to do. And I think there needs to come a point where Hollywood begins to realize how poisonous she really is when it comes to all these major franchises, be it Bond or Lara Croft, or even, of course, her involvement in other things out there. We'll talk about that a little bit later, too. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments on what you have to say about all of this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.